How can sleep boost your muscle building and fat burning? Let's talk about why sleep is your secret weapon after 40. If you're struggling to build muscle or to burn fat, no matter how hard you train or how clean you eat, if you're skipping quality sleep, you're unknowingly sabotaging your progress. So we're going to talk about sleep is your secret weapon after 40. And I want to mention that I myself had a terrible time sleeping when I was perimenopausal. So around the decade of my 40s, I couldn't sleep, and I virtually didn't sleep very well for 10 years. Fortunately for me, once I hit menopause, I went back to being able to sleep a little bit better, and I really prize my sleep now. So let's get into it, get into the science. Sleep matters after 40 because deep sleep helps you in so many ways that we're going to detail as we continue this conversation. Muscle recovery, you get growth hormone at night, and better insulin sensitivity. So the muscle recovery, right? Your body repairs and rebuilds muscles during deep sleep. Who knew? But if you're sleeping less, then you have a much slower recovery because you haven't given your muscles that opportunity to rebuild and reset during sleep. And you'll get slower strength gains as a consequence. And if you're somebody who is not doing any strength training, and not sleeping, then your muscles are going to get weaker and weaker and weaker as you age without intervention. So growth hormone is this wonderful hormone, and you can see in this chart the fluctuation of kind of when we get it. So we kind of get a little burst after a meal, we get a burst after exercise, but we get the biggest burst after sleep. And in deep sleep, we get a lot of growth hormone, and it's critical for muscle building and fat loss. And it's released, a lot of it, while you're sleeping. Insulin sensitivity. So good sleep helps your body handle carbs efficiently and reduces fat storage. Poor sleep often results in more fat gain. The sleep fat loss connection also has to do with cortisol, right? So if you're not sleeping, it's stressful on the body, and you've got cortisol, the cortisol hormone is rising, and that's going to trigger hunger and cravings and disrupt your metabolism. The lack of sleep, increasing cortisol, also leads to stubborn fat, especially around the belly. And poor sleep throws your hunger hormones out of whack. So there's two hormones. There's the hormone that tells us that we're hungry and the hormone that tells us that we're getting full. And the one that tells us that we're hungry increases when we're not sleeping very well. And a lack of sleep lowers the hormone that tells us that we're full. So that makes cravings nearly impossible to resist. And we might find ourselves eating in the middle of the night because we're not sleeping. And this sleep stress sends your body into fat storing mode. It sends your body into survival mode, which is just slamming the brakes on your metabolism. So let's talk about how to improve sleep. We have 4 tips here that we'll discuss. The first is develop a wind down routine. Shut off the screens an hour before bed, all the screens. Don't take your phone into your bedroom with you. And I know most of us do, but leave it somewhere else. And try reading a book, a physical book, stretching, some yoga, calming breath work. You could play cards, solitaire by yourself, cards with your partner. Whatever you can do to relax and calm before you attempt to sleep. Optimize your sleep hygiene. So keep your room dark, and many people like it to be cool, but take the temperature you like. The fewer people like to be warm, but more people like to be cool. But whatever you like, make sure you've got the right temperature. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Maybe, and depending on your person, you might need to avoid it a little bit sooner, more like noon. And limit alcohol, right? Because alcohol can be disruptive to your sleep. Eat earlier in the evening, right? So stop eating several hours before you want to go to sleep. And a lighter evening meal can help you with digestion, right? So you don't have a heavy belly when you're trying to sleep. And magnesium is helpful for sleep. So you could try a magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, nuts, and seeds. And there's also magnesium supplements. And so let me talk about a client. Sarah, 52, was sleeping only 5 hours a night. And her workouts were not paying off. Once we were able to solve her sleeping problem and improve her sleep, her strength increased and the fat that she was concerned about started to melt away without any extreme dieting. It's really the sleeping that did it. And I wanted to mention that different people, so they suggested ranges 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. And I'm a 7-hour person myself, but you might know that you're a 9-hour person. And it's good to just know what is best for you. What amount of sleep gives you the best start to your next day. If you are interested in talking about sleep or any other fitness issues that you're puzzling over, book a discovery call so we can talk about you. I can learn more about you, and I can make some suggestions for things that would be helpful for you for some smarter training and lasting fat loss. The next, next and last video is about how consistency beats perfection every time. Thanks for listening. Do book a call. Love to talk to you.